into the Saints. I'm gonna let you kick this one off. They finished 7-10 last year. Now they have Derek Carr there as the quarterback. I think this is Dennis Allen's show and prove season. If they do not make the playoffs or win this division, I think he's out. He's gone because he's made a lot. He kind of forced the hand to bring Derek Carr in, overspend on Derek Carr a little bit as well too with the contract and all that good stuff because Derek Carr is still getting paid top dollar and all that good stuff. So this has to work. This isn't a we're building something here situation. This is no, we're going to the playoffs or you're fired straight up. You know what I mean? Because we're not spending all this money on Derek Carr for him to just do what he did in Vegas and Oakland. No, we're not doing that here. So your thoughts, Jeff? I'll let you go ahead and
I wasn't buying, but the more I'm watching and the more I'm listening, the more I'm seeing. They looked amazing last Sunday. Offensively, Derek looked like he had everything under control. They have the Alvin Kamara situation taken care of. He will miss the first 3 weeks. They brought over the running back from Detroit. They drafted Kendra Miller. Olave, I have huge expectations for him. I think one of the bigger keys is Michael Thomas. Is we going to get the diva who gets dinged up and doesn't want to play but can cash a damn check every Tuesday? Or are we going to get the kid from 3 years ago with 120 catches, the one that wants to say, hey, Mr. Olave, I'm back, just slow the roll a little. A tight end, Juwan Johnson, who's going to have a big fantasy year as well. Now, defensively, I think on paper, one of the best defenses in this division. And I want to say top 10 in the NFL. Add the dome factor 8 times a year. They got the recipe here. I think they win this division, Pops, by default. A Bucs team that's really going to struggle. A Panthers team that's just not there yet, maybe a year behind. And then, of course, the Atlanta team, which I think the quarterback situation at the end is going to get them and their weaker defense compared to a Saints. So I think the recipe here is who dat and the Saints. As long as Carr is Carr and doesn't try to win the game by his arm, which he can tend to do. I don't think they have to get into that first 1 to 30 mentality because of their defense, Pop. So I think eventually, and I wasn't saying this 6-8 weeks ago, but the more I read through the tea leaves, I'll take the Saints here to win the division.
Well, that's some smart thinking right there. And I think that's something that we can all agree upon, that this is a division that is solely looking at the Saints. And as you know, they have the over 9.5. They have the over under 9.5 here. Championship odds -135. So when they have them at a minus, that means that they are damn near locked to win this division. But that's just overthinking, in my opinion. I feel like you're being lazy. The odds makers are being really lazy right now because they're just handing both these teams the division on who the quarterback is and who the coach is. But Dennis Allen isn't the best coach in this division. Not at all. Like, if we rank coaches in this division, he's probably 2 or 3. But he's not the number 1 coach in the division at all. That's not happening. And I think that when you look at the way this team is moving into the season, they are very confident in what they have, and they know that the calling card is going to be defense. But one thing about the Saints that really sets the Saints apart is that they don't have to rely on Derek Carr. Derek Carr is actually in you better show us what you can do. We're not going to sit up in here and have a whole bunch of patience with you like the Raiders did. You got Jameis Winston sitting behind him. You know what I mean? And Jameis Winston will take your spot. And then, believe it or not, they got a kid who's the 3rd string quarterback, Jake Hayner, who I feel like is going to be better than both these guys by the end of their careers. And they're just keeping him up under the cellophane. So they have probably the best situation when it comes to the quarterback position, to where they don't have to rely on Derek Carr to take them to the promised land. If Derek Carr can't do it, then go get Jameis. And Nobody else in this division has that luxury. Nobody else has that luxury in this division. And that's what truly sets the Saints apart from everybody else in the South, straight up. So that's something that's working in their favor. And then the thing is, with this Saints team, we know that they have the defensive stars. They don't have the best defense, but they have the defensive stars. And that's one thing that puts them over the top. And you know, one thing, Sean Payton wish he would have had this defense when they won that Super Bowl a decade ago. You know, that's how good this defense truly is. And I think that if they are the calling card for the Saints like they've been the last few years, the Saints should easily walk away with this division. But none of these games are going to be that easy for them, especially on the road.
I agree.
All right. So, because you gave me that look, I thought you had you wanted to put in some final words.
No. I agree. Like I says, if the divisions that we broke down today are two divisions with two favorites, the Saints and the Jaguars, that Vegas is just putting the minus sign because they don't know. They want to make the public, the squares, the degenerates, choose it on their own. I mean, they're you take the Jags by default because they're ascending, and then you take the Saints by default because there's no Tom Brady. There's a rookie quarterback in Carolina and a rookie quarterback in Atlanta. I mean, there's not a lot of meat on the bone to choose from here.
Right. And, you know, everything just kind of goes back to the Saints. But we know seasons have went different when they've handed teams the division by default, especially when it comes to the South.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to the South. But right now, today, Saints look like the best. It look like the team that wins this division. But I'm not handing them the division yet. I have to still go through my notes, and we'll have an answer next week. You know what I mean? But let's go ahead and jump into our next team.